only have two modes: very cooperative or very spiteful.
Welcome to the Olive Branch, the podcast where two siblings from a small southern town in the heart of the Bible Belt, the Rocket City, Huntsville, Alabama, try to bridge the gap between left and right America.
Or at least avoid strangling each other while trying. I'm Audra, your left-wing host. I'm a wife, intentionally childless, liberal, atheist, socialist, communist, depending on who you ask, and I am unemployed but a caretaker for our mother.
And I'm Eric, your right-wing host, a husband, father, conservative, born-again Christian, and proud engine nerd with multiple engineering degrees. I've spent over 2 decades leading Sunday school, missional communities, life groups, small groups, connecting people to God by teaching God's holy word.
I have spent over 2 decades as a dungeon master, guiding heroes through mystical realms of Dungeons and Dragons, and have numerous credit hours at a local community college.
Well, that counts. So, between the preacher and the heathen,
the Bible and the battle map,
we've got absolutely no qualifications to be sharing our political opinions with the masses.
But we're going to do it anyway.
Let's do this already.
Woohoo!
Okay. So, what are we doing?
First thing we need to do is piggyback off of our last episode, which was a few weeks ago, immigration.
Okay.
And the only homework assignment we had was, is it illegal for Trump to use Department of War for police reinforcement in U.S. cities?
I think he can. What do you say? Because I don't know that I did much research on this.
That sounds like you.
What do you got?
It is generally illegal. The only time it can be legal is when Congress authorizes it.
Okay.
Which I think that's one of the things where Trump is declared like a dictator or fascist or king or whatever, because he's not going through the proper channels to have Congress authorize the Department of War being used in cities. Now, if a state requests it, then they can agree to do it, but they can't just go into cities without Congress.
Okay, so bottom line, that makes sense. So let me ask you, if it requires congressional approval, how does it happen? I guess Trump says it as the commander-in-chief. Pete Hegseth is the Secretary of War. He hears him, and then he directs his generals in, whether it's Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, National Guard, and they just follow suit. And you're saying it shouldn't happen that way?
Correct.
Okay.
Congress has to approve it.
Okay. Well,
we don't have the Kim Jong-un situation.
Let me ask you this: why do you say it requires congressional approval? Based off of what?
The Posse Comitatus Act is a federal law that prohibits the U.S. military from domestic law enforcement purposes, with very few exceptions that are authorized by Congress. It was enacted in 1878, and it prevents federal troops from acting as police, limiting their direct involvement in activities like arrests and searches to uphold the principle of civilian control over law enforcement. Okay,
that's interesting. I mean, we created Congress for a reason, so that there wouldn't be just like essentially a dictator. So it would be a representation.
We don't have Kim Jong-un sending the military out to silence his,
Yeah.
dissenters.
So I know we have senators representing each state. And do you know what kind of vote it would take? Is it just a majority vote, 51%, or is it a 2/3?
I didn't dig into that.
Okay, just curious. At the end of the day, that's not something I would balk over. It almost seems like.
But states can request it at any time.
But even if they request it, Congress would have to vote on it. Oh, really?
They can request it, and the Army or whoever can acquiesce.
Oh.
That's like if a police situation, if there's a riot, if there's a hostage situation at a bank and they want SWAT.
Okay. Okay, that makes more sense, because that's what I was really concerned about, was the time it would take to get Congress to come together and Congress. So,
Yeah.
okay. All right. Well, why do you think Trump's not using Congress to do that?
He doesn't want his ideas to not be done if he had the idea to do it, so he just wants to do it.
Well, this is where I should have done some homework to represent the right. I wonder, is there any legal justification or substantiation, the argument of why Trump's bypassing this Posse Comitatus Act?
I really think it's just he doesn't like going through the proper channels.
Okay. But
he thinks he's above the rules.
So keeping it real.
It's anti-constitution.
So keeping it real, you are speculating.
Yeah.
You're just going by your opinion. Okay, got you. Maybe somebody listening, you already know the answer.
Ooh.
And you could enlighten us in the
Help
comments. I think that would be helpful. So, but that's good. And I don't object to Congress weighing in on stuff like this. So
keeping the president in their place to not encroach on American cities and citizens.
Yeah.
Without an actual need that they can all agree on.
Yeah, I will say, I guess the point of contention and the application for this question, that was on the topic of illegal immigration.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also this whole, I guess, issue. The contention applies for also the fight against crime, because it's the same thing. Where Trump he went into D.C., which isn't a state, but went into Memphis, Tennessee, different places to help reduce crime. And some people love that. There's testimonies of all these locations of the people in the community. They love it because, hey, you used to couldn't walk down the street without being robbed or mugged or attacked, and now everybody feels safe, so it's good.
For some areas.
But then there's some.
I was gonna say I've never seen that in my feed. I've only seen the opposite.
Oh, that's so funny! I got loads of it. I can hook you up. But there's some mayors who say they don't want Trump to send stuff in. What's that argument? Why would somebody not want reinforcement if crime is rampant?
Do you think we need military aid in this neighborhood right now?
In my neighborhood?
Yeah.
Here? No.
They probably think that.
Who's they?
The governors or senators or whoever that don't want Trump bringing the military, boots on the ground, military weapons. It's not a problem.
So like...
It's not a problem that requires that.
No. So like, I know the Chicago mayor is adamant, don't come here, go away. Seems like somewhere in California was the same. I think it's Trump derangement syndrome. Hey, this is Trump's idea. Trump would get the credit for reducing crime. No, I got to sabotage it and just say I don't want it, even at the expense of the own citizens. That's how it looks. Does that make sense?
I think that interpretation is an example of Trump derangement syndrome.
How?
Oh, he's going to come save them, and they don't even want it. Like, they don't think he's going to save them. They think he's going to get 100 people who are citizens out of their apartment in the middle of the night with smoke bombs and tear gas. And they don't want that to stir up in their community.
So you think they are concerned...
You're poking a bear that was sleeping. It's not even a thing that's an issue right now.
The concern is they're trying to protect innocent citizens from harm or collateral damage by coming in.
And I know some cities are okay with protecting immigrants that aren't legal per se.
Yeah.
But aren't criminals.
Yeah. So I hear you. I'm absorbing that information. It's hard for me to agree. I think I see it the way I see it, but I hear you, and I'm learning. I'm hearing you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm curious about the states that are into it, so
yeah.
I'll have to poke around a little bit.
All right. Well, I'll show you some of my feed after this episode.
Another thing we wanted to do, we had a few comments that came in early on, and we just wanted to kind of show them. We had talked about one of our OnlyFans, not that kind of OnlyFan.
Yeah, we're not subscribed to OnlyFans.
We don't do that kind of patronage entertainment.
Yeah. Yeah, right side, left side.
We're both
on
okay
this
with
channel, we're good.
You know, sex work is real work. We're leaving that to the professionals. We're not encroaching on their territory. That's what you were going to say, right?
Exactly. All right.
But we did have some people that wanted to be fans, and one of them is a Harley MacGyver,
Okay.
which is his alias. But it says they don't do the TikTok, but they do want to be a fan.
Okay. I know this Harley MacGyver, and that is a stage name. That's actually a close friend of mine. So, all right. Welcome, Harley.
And then John said they wanted to be a fan too.
Hey, come on. Bring it.
We will take you. Now, another old school friend of Eric's, has sent in a message. Patrick has said, I'm going to have to unwatch portions of this where Eric talks.
Well, okay. Yeah, so I know this Jay Patrick. This is actually an old time friend. Man, probably from 3 decades ago. This stretches back. We used to do community theater together here in Huntsville.
It is close to 3 decades.
And, we had a little bit of a rivalry going back in the day. Yeah, he was, I think he was a little bit envious, a little jealous. I was more popular. I had better acting skills, had a bigger fan base, if you will. And it was just a little envious, a little jealousy going on there. So I think it's just stemming from all that. So, Patrick, come on, move on. Let's go.
Accept Eric's camera prowess for what it is.
And for those who don't know, I'm being very sarcastic. I'm sure he's not not jealous of this country bumpkin on a community theater stage at all.
That is fair. People don't know us 100%. If I ever say anything like I'm competitive or snarky, that's fake because I have no competitive bone in my body. And you can't compete with me because I want all of us to win.
But seriously, if Patrick had to truly confess and rate my performance on this podcast, I think he would describe it in 3 words: fabulous, 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 and that would summarize in a nutshell.
I'm sure that's exactly how he feels. Another message, which actually had Patrick on there as well, but it's from Rhonda. Above that, Patrick just says, "Go Audra, boo Eric."
Expected. Got it. All right. And from Rhonda, she says, first of all, and we know Rhonda here. Rhonda's a local friend. First of all, Eric and Audra, so-and-so shared a video of you guys and suggested that I follow you. Audra, you and I could not disagree more. But it's okay to disagree, okay? After all, that's how we learn and grow. Okay, I love it. Love the attitude. This is the right perspective. Audra, I have worked with you and I love a lot of things about you. Despite being an atheist, I appreciated you teaching preschoolers about Jesus, and you're always so kind and soft-spoken. That is very true. And yes, my atheist sister used to work at the church.
I was paid to hang out with my 2-year-old nephew.
I think
on Sundays.
I think Jesus must have rubbed off on you or something.
Sure.
I love you, Audra and Eric. You're one of the funniest people I know, and I love you too. Now I'm going to work on catching up on all the videos. All right, excellent. All right, that's a good comment. I appreciate the feedback, the positive feedback and encouragement. So
I actually like some of the comments because it's the internet and we're new. We don't have a reputation. People don't know us, and they're just seeing little clips, especially because if they're not watching the full YouTube video, they're just seeing the little snippets and then thinking, oh, this is a weighted, argument of one side or the other. And this is probably, I need to bring that up. My husband called us a troll cast. We're not. And I asked him, what do you mean a troll cast? He's like, where you're like farming outrage. I was like, that's not what we're doing. And he was like, you're talking about abortion and immigration. Yeah, you're farming outrage. And I was like, no, we're trying to do the opposite. We're talking about the hard stuff in a friendly, fun, socially acceptable, like amicable type manner to bring us closer together about the hard topics. I was
with love and respect.
We're the opposite of a troll cast. We're like a gnome cast.
A gnome cast?
Yeah, we just want to hang out. I'd say halfling cast, but most people don't know what those are. Gnomes are widespread understood. They're just cute, want to hang out, bake some pies, hang out with families.
Yes.
Have a little garden.
We're gnomes.
We're the gnome cast. We're not a troll cast. We don't want to see hate in the comments. We don't want controversy or adversarial type language. If you have a problem, ask questions and be like, hey, what did you mean by that? How can you explain that further?
Yeah, so just to echo what Audra's saying, we want to encourage a dynamic of communicating these hard, complex items with love and respect, with patience, with kindness, with gentleness. And I think what part of it is not demanding people to change their minds. I think what we need to do is respectfully speak our point of view and just plan it and let people compile that information. Let them process. Be patient, and then it's got to require that. So as you see different points of view, respect those different points of view. Essentially, the rub is this, and I said this in the intro of our podcast. When you got polar opposite viewpoints on a hot topic, the immediate conclusion is the other person is incompetent or evil. And that's the point of view of both sides on the other. And I don't think that's the case. So I think we need to take a step back and realize the other person is a human being. It's a person made in the image of God. You need to respect them, you need to honor them, and you need to speak truth in love and be patient if they disagree with you.
So today, what we're talking about is something I'm pretty excited about, even though I've heard mixed reviews already, so I'm kind of sad. I'm even wearing my Wicked for Good shirt.
Okay.
But Wicked the Broadway musical has the movies coming out. The sequel to the movie from last year is coming out this week. And I had prepared a little bit of how Wicked is applicable to society and politics and things that are themes that were in there from the 90s when it was first written and how they still apply today, and just the different kind of like deep cuts that they have in commentary.
Okay, let me hit pause. So I don't want to be presumptuous to this vast audience. Not everybody is familiar with Wicked. So can we just back it all the way up? What the heck is Wicked? And tie that to the Wizard of Oz. To tell us everything of...
I can do that. You are very good, because I am very nerdy. And I'm already like 5 layers deep into my fandom.
Let's lay a foundation so people who've never even heard of Wicked can catch up and play with us.
In 1938, there was a movie that was ahead of its time because of a new technology called Technicolor, called The Wizard of Oz. It was, I think, by Frank L. Baum. This is me trying to remember real things. I didn't prep this. But I think it was Frank L. Baum was the author, and it's about a girl named Dorothy. She gets caught up in a tornado after having some beef with people on her farm and her neighbors. And then she's in this magical realm. Yellow Brick Road, Lion, Scarecrow.
Now here's the deal. I think everybody knows Wizard of Oz.
I know, that's right.
I just don't think everybody knows Wicked. But maybe I'm being presumptuous.
Well, now that you have remembered what Wizard of Oz is.
Hang on. Here's a challenge. If you have never seen Wizard of Oz, lay that taxi cab confession in the comments. You're like a golden egg. Nobody's ever heard of you.
There's probably people younger than me. Like, have you made all your kids watch it?
Of course. It's a staple.
I think there are some people in our generation that didn't make their kids watch it.
Oh my goodness. Wow. What is this world coming to?
But I think everyone in our generation did watch it.
Okay. So tell us what Wicked is.
Wicked is the story of the Glinda, the Good Witch of the North.
Okay.
And Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West, and their relationship before Dorothy came to town. Okay. I think the log line for the movie is there's so much happened before Dorothy blew in.
Okay.
And I don't have anything else.
No, that's a great summary. That's a good intro to Wicked and everything. I have seen the movie, and I've also seen the Broadway show. And I'll tell you straight up, that Broadway show was awesome. It was really good.
It's been on Broadway for like 20 years.
Yeah. It's very entertaining, very good. We saw it in Atlanta. It was great.
I feel like the movie is a little bit more drawn out, but it's so artistically done as far as the details and the backgrounds and the scenery. Mm-hmm. I can see them just being like, we spent thousands of dollars and Betty worked really hard on this set and it looks amazing. We should really focus on this a little bit longer.
Yeah. Now, so I took my whole family to see it in Atlanta, and I think everybody loved it. I also took my same family to
The movie?
Now, one of my teenagers asked to have the car keys so they could drive home and get away from being trapped in that movie theater with that long movie, and that they would come and pick us up if we couldn't get another ride home. And then my two other children that were with me, one was like around 20, and the others around 12. They just fell asleep. And I think my wife fell asleep. But the movie didn't have. It was more.
It's a slower pace, and it's not as engaging because it's not set.
Yeah.
Whereas the plays are designed to be set like that.
They are. They're a little bit more punchy, I guess. So, but overall, I kind of like the movie. It's kind of okay, but I love the Broadway show. How did you feel about them?
Well, I have a weird issue with the Broadway show. I listened to the soundtrack for like 15 years before I saw the Broadway show. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, no, this seems a little bit more dynamic in my head that I've been creating from just the audio for the past 15 years. Like I had things and I'm like, oh no, that's good what they did. That's different.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done that because I've imagined my own scene. So
okay.
So the Broadway show, I liked it, but I was a little taken out of it because I had already built up everything in my head a specific way and it was just different.
Yeah. A lot of people have the same frustration when they read a book and then they watch the movie that they finally make of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, but I like both of them, and I definitely like a lot of the story of Wicked and a lot of kind of the commentary and just the different references and a lot of tongue-in-cheek and philosophical points of interest. And that's actually one of the first quotes I had was who said it best. Fiyero, the prince from, I think it's Wiki country. Anyways, Fiyero, he says, stop studying strife and learn to live an unexamined life, which is an inverse of Socrates' quote, an unexamined life is not worth living. So, and it's just a neat thing that he's like basically saying, don't worry about it. If you just keep, enjoying the next thing and moving on to the next thing you can do, that's how you get through life. And that's, the best way to do it. Whereas Socrates, it's, you need to have self-reflection. You need to examine yourself.
Yeah.
And your circumstances and your consequences. And
yeah. I talk to my kids pretty regularly about self-evaluation, self-awareness, understand your emotions. And like my 13-year-old daughter, she knows when she's tired, when she's frustrated, irritable, and how you can hear it in her voice, and she knows she can pay attention to that and kind of gauge herself on how to engage. So it's good. It's helpful. Yeah.
And that's something that I think because I have that mindset where I like to pick things apart and I like to really tear into the nuances and the nitty gritty meanings and interpretations of stuff. That's one of the reasons why I like that phrase that Fiyero says. Another easy point that...
Wait, who's Fiyero in this Wicked?
He is the prince that moves in that Glinda dates, but then Elphaba, the second half of the movie, is coming out this...
so he's the male heartthrob attraction,
male heartthrob.
The eye candy for both witches.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
And
I remember now. I forgot.
The second half of the play.
He's not even in the Broadway show. He's just.
He is.
He is.
He does Dancing Through Life.
Oh, I just didn't even notice.
He has a very important role in the second half. But I don't want to do spoilers because...
no spoilers.
Yeah. But you'll see. He actually has more of a role. One of the things that I thought was interesting that they alluded to, I don't know if they did it in the play, because I've only seen the play once, but they alluded to in the movie, the Wizard of Oz wanted all the yellow brick roads to lead back to him. And that's a very famous saying that they found out, all roads lead to Rome. And that was something that they did, is once they started making roads, they would pick the furthest area of the map and just make a pathway out there because they wanted to have access to all the resources, access to all the ports.
Yeah.
They wanted their military to be able to go wherever they wanted it to go. They wanted to trade with anybody they wanted to trade with.
Yeah.
And they wanted to be a central focus of society and what is the epitome of society.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty neat that the Wizard of Oz referenced that.
Yeah.
That's just a little easy layup, a light one that I like. One of the darker themes is making good. Madame Morrible says to Elphaba, once she finds out she has magical power, she's like, if you work as you should, if you do the right things and you work hard, you might even get to meet the Wizard of Oz. You might get to have some power and some prestige. But she keeps referencing as you'll be making good. And they're not using it in the term that you would normally think of, like you can do good for other people. It's if you play your cards right, you can serve the powers that be and then get in the position of power as well. But that's something that they do very well in Wicked is good doesn't mean beneficial.
It's kind of like Michael Jackson when he says I'm bad. Bad is good.
He didn't mean bad in the way some people mean bad.
Right. So, and this is Madame Morrible, which sounds like horrible, and she wicked. So, yeah, she be making good. That means you're helping only yourself, and that's so anti-Christian because the second greatest commandment is to love your neighbor as yourself.
And it's not even helping yourself. She thinks Elphaba will be making good if Elphaba can use her magic for Oz, and not the city of Oz, but the Wizard of Oz.
Aha.
So if she can fall in line and basically be productive with the system, then she'll be good. Otherwise, she's not good if she's not contributing to society. And society is a very power hierarchy system in Wicked.
So she's trying to recruit talent to the Illuminati inside the Wicked.
She is.
All right, got it. All right, we're following. We're tracking. Hang on a second. The wizard who plays the wizard in
Jeff Goldblum.
I like him. I think he's a great pick. He's a funny character. I really enjoyed his performance in one of the Thor.
Oh yeah, Ragnarok.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. Yeah, that funny. He was so good in that.
I think people just love Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
And our age is the demographic target audience right now because we're the highest spending consumer and they play on our nostalgia.
Yeah.
So Jeff Goldblum's had a really good streak of just being cast as himself.
Yeah.
Just be a little impy man that's kind of funny and do whatever
kind of quirky.
Yeah. Be quirky, be a little difficult, be a little scamp.
Yeah. I don't know if I like Jeff Goldblum just as himself or if I like people who can do a great Jeff Goldblum impersonation.
That's a selling point for people.
Oh, yeah.
If you can be more like him, you're likable.
All right, I'm going to be Googling that as soon as we get out of the show. So entertaining.
But sorry. The two phrases I like from him, one of them is, back home we believe all sorts of things that aren't true. We call it history. And that's just a great, tongue-in-cheek, and he says it so fast and goes right past it.
Yeah.
But the history is written by the victors. It's written by the people who got their say, and then they can make the bad guys as bad as they wanted, even if they were the bad guy, and that's how they wanted, is they were doing the more ruthless stuff. The other thing... Hang
on, let's plant there. Your great line from the movie, The Count of Monte Cristo.
Ooh.
And then that's what he ends up saying. One of the guys that was helping, I guess, the revolt with Napoleon, he said, he was counted as a traitor, for treason. So for going against the regime. And he's like, history is written by the victors. Mm-hmm. So what he was saying is, I'm not going to be considered a traitor. I'm going to be considered a winner.
Yeah.
I help lead the whole people to victory. So
I'm a young sung hero that flipped the tables.
Yeah, interesting.
And the other phrase that he says that I like is, nothing brings people together better than a good bad guy or a good enemy. And that is something that's one of the lines where somebody had said when the movie came out last year, they're like, is this like about present day? Did they go woke and add a bunch of commentary? It's like, no, that's been in the Broadway play since the 90s. Like it was true then, it's true now, and there's a lot of kind of social layers where there's just different things where the government or people in power will make people the other so that they can subjugate them and then corral everybody else to be on their side.
Yeah.
Some of the examples I looked into, which in the Wicked, the others are like the animals, and they're corralling the animals and making the animals need to be in cages, and this is better for the Aussie communities, and that way we can protect our resources, and we'll just take away the rights of this one small population so the rest of Oz can flourish. And Elphaba obviously has the green skin, and that's something she's like othered for a whole lot in the play. But in American culture, the 13th Amendment is one of the ways the government, when slavery got ended, they were like, but we were really used to having slaves. What if we make black codes and put regulations out there for black people and not white people, and then we can arrest them again? And then with the 13th Amendment, we can have them work legally for the prison system. And, you're out on the sidewalk, but your foot was off though? I think that's loitering. I think, no, that's vagrancy, I'm sure. And we're going to have very broad vagrancy laws. And they got tons of chain gangs. And then they could do the leasing prisoners for profit, which our for-profit prison system's gotten only better since then.
This is a very interesting little theme you got going here. Nothing brings people together than a good bad guy. And, when you think of like different presidencies over the last several decades, you could probably find, if not the president that's elected, but any senior leader in Congress, a senator, there's probably a bunch that you could say, hey, they fit that, and then how that started tension and different topics and different positioning, I guess, and all that. I think, when I talked about in our Trump derangement syndrome episode, Trump is obviously probably the best good bad guy you could even think of. He's definitely flipped the tables. He's totally different. He's a good guy, but he's a bad guy. I see it because he's so unpredictable. He's very unorthodox. And it's just a different dynamic. But this whole concept makes me think of like my testimony when we did the episode on abortion, and how I had academic beliefs on what was right and wrong with abortion that was very simplistic. But when I got into a very serious situation, and flooded with different emotions on this complex situation, my belief system was challenged, and I had to get real with that belief. And bottom line is, I think that type of dynamic happens with a good bad guy. You're challenged on what you believe, and you have to fight for it. And when you have to fight for it, it takes work, and you get more ingrained. And I think it helps people settle into their convictions a little better. I mean, just doing this episode, it's easy to sit back and eat popcorn in your living room and yell at Fox News or yell at CNN, but to get on a podcast and kind of share your beliefs, I mean, you got to do a little homework. You got to do a little soul searching. You got to do a little self-awareness, a little self-evaluation. And I think it's healthy. I think it's healthy for anyone to go through that drill. So
I think it's vital.
So yeah, you're getting to my punchline. It's good to have a good bad guy in your life. You don't need to run away from bad guys. You need to face them and learn how to engage.
I agree with what you're saying. I feel like you missed the quote barely.
Oh.
Because the quote is, nothing brings people together like a good enemy. So everybody else is together versus that one thing. So.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
But I like the tangent you went on.
Yeah,
so.
Okay. Yeah, if you have a common enemy, the people unite. Um, so
And I had picked a few just random examples in history where our government has done that to different people and made, oh, look at these slaves that are now just freeloading and not, doing whatever, and now we'll do the black codes and now we'll just basically re-enslave them. And then in the 30s, after Prohibition ended, Harry Anslinger, he needed funding to keep the Department of Narcotics up. So he made a bunch of anti-Mexican propaganda about smoking weed and how it makes them violent and they want to rape white women. And then because he made so much propaganda against Mexicans, and Mexicans were already like a hot topic of people being racist towards them back then there ended up being a call to arms to stop all this weed smoking, dangerous, whatever. And they ended up making it a class 1 drug.
yeah.
And the war on weed started in the 1930s.
You know what I think? You just mentioned a horrible manipulation of law to take advantage of blacks. Then you said this practically the same thing with Mexicans. I think I agree with your husband. You are trying to troll cast. You're trying to stir up drama.
I'm talking about how Wicked said the best way to get your people to corral underneath you is to give them a good enemy.
Yeah.
And times where our government said, see that minority? They're the bad guy.
Yeah.
Don't look. The common thing nowadays is...
Are you trying to start a revolt in America? What's wrong with you?
History is important, Eric.
We do need to learn from history. We do need to learn from our mistakes.
And then basically the same thing happened in the 80s with the crack epidemic. Crack was the poor man's cocaine. So lower, like hippies and lower income people would do crack, and cocaine was really popular in the upper, whiter communities. So cocaine was, you might get probation if you got caught with cocaine, but you would get 2 to 10 years if you got caught with crack. And we all know how the for-profit prison system is amazing right now. And so now they have the statistic I saw earlier today that was from 2022 is incarcerated workers provide $9 billion annually in services and produce $2 billion in goods. And they see like 10 cents per hour for their commissary fund.
Wow.
So.
Yeah. I would like for us to do a show and talk about prisons, the pros and cons. What do they cost, and what benefit do they have? How do you compare, contrast punishment versus protection of society, justice? Is that the best modern day punishment for felony crime? I think that'd be a good discussion.
I agree. That's something that I think we should talk about and kind of do in depth.
Yeah. I mean, the way I see it, word it in my head, we actually take grown adult human beings and lock them up in cages for years, like wild animals. It seems archaic. It seems barbaric. It seems close to stupid to me. It seems like there's a better way. I'd like to discuss it.
I agree.
Yeah.
The next thing that I wanted to point out was regarding Fiyero and Elphaba having their little thing, even though Fiyero was kind of claimed by Glinda. And the second half of the movie and the second half of the play starts with Glinda and Fiyero getting married. But halfway through the first half of the play, Fiero's in love with Elphaba. Like, she's making him think for the first time. She's making him stop and consider things and care about others and take himself out of his comfort zone to help other people. And it's really kind of inspiring him and making him more connected. And a side note that I had about that was I feel like interracial dating isn't as much of a faux pas as it was like 30, 50 years ago or whatever. So it's kind of like Fiyero has like a closet boyfriend. And then Elphaba, he can't date her. So he gets forced into a marriage with someone that's fine. He's okay with her. He likes they like dancing together. But his heart is with somebody else that society won't accept as his life partner.
Oh.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of a neat, which they, the more obvious example would be like an interracial because she's green.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
That's a neat thing. But another thing from the wedding scene where Glinda tricks him into getting married. She sings a song, and it's my favorite song in the movie, or in the play. I haven't seen that song in the movie yet. But it's Couldn't Be Happier. And one of the lines is, because happy is what happens when all your dreams come true. Well, isn't it? Because she has checked every box of what she wanted.
Yeah.
And she has a husband that doesn't really care for her. She lost her best friend. She's kind of isolated. She's in a system that's fighting against her, and she doesn't have any friends in the system. So, it's just like, well, I got everything I wanted, but I guess this is happiness, because happy is what happens. Yeah. And that was something I thought about with the capitalist hellscape that we live in.
Yeah.
Everyone's, the workers are separated from the means of production. So an example I've heard of is like 200 years ago, you were a cobbler. You had a relationship with 6 dudes, and they brought you the leather and the oils and the this, and you had the shipments on Thursday, and you always paid that bill, and he always brought you a piece of his wife's bunk cake. And you were the person who made shoes for everyone in town. Everyone had a shoe from you. They would come to you to get it repaired. You knew what you were providing. You had this direct connection with your community because of the service you provided. Mm-hmm. No job offers that anymore because everything is a cog in the machine.
Yeah, for worldwide
mass production,
distribution. Yeah,
and instead of being the cobbler for the town, you're on an assembly line and you're poking the 3rd and 5th aglet on the shoe, and you do that all day, and you never see who wears it, you never see who likes it, you never have any interpersonal connections. And we have the more creature comforts nowadays than we've ever had. And we've had like the highest rates of depression because people don't have purpose.
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah. But we have everything we could want.
It makes me think of in my feed for different reels and stuff. I've seen multiple, like, they're at least very high millionaires, if not billionaires, and they say a similar testimony. Probably the most famous person I've seen do this is Jim Carrey. I don't know if you've ever seen Jim Carrey do a testimony about how he wishes everybody could be as successful as he has and have as much money as he has, so they will realize it's a pointless goal because it doesn't satisfy. It's not the end game you want or need or that fulfills. Yeah. Because once you realize that, then it'll totally change how you orient yourself to live your life. Yeah. And it's very interesting.
That was a joke I said to my friend, because he was like, yeah, I've just been really depressed and really down lately, but once I hit this milestone and this goal, then I'll be happy. I was like, you realize people cheated on Halle Berry and Sandra Bullock, right? Like, millionaires kill themselves. So I don't know what checkbox you think makes you happy, but I promise you there isn't one. Yeah. You have to be happy before you get to the checkboxes. Otherwise, it's just a different... You're going to go with you no matter where you go.
Yeah. I think you have to choose to be happy and enjoy the process of... I think it's good to have goals and to work.
You have to have purpose.
To enjoy using your skills, talents, passions, gifts, all your resources to accomplish a greater good, a contribution to the community, kind of like you were saying a while ago. But just enjoy that. Enjoy the process. Happiness isn't a destination; it's the journey. Yeah. But it's hard for some people to grasp that.
Yeah, Glinda didn't get it. She's like, "But I did all the things. I got it right.
Man, Glinda,
I'm happy now."
Man, Glinda was so good in that Broadway show. She was the best.
There's I want to say, not like Disney, but basically like Disney where they have the actors and actresses. Maybe at Universal.
Yeah.
They have a Glinda. She's amazing. You should find some reels of her.
Okay.
She like does like an entire back bend, like just flouncing her hair around. It's wild. The last little dumb thing I had about this was the people in power, ending on Glinda being in power, kind of. And something that Glinda says in the first one during the popular song, talking about, celebrated heads of state or especially great communicators. Did they have brains or knowledge? Don't make me laugh. They were popular. And talking about people who have the most aptitude or the most skills aren't necessarily the people in the highest positions of power.
Yeah.
And I just went through like the list of the people in power. Elphaba is the only person with any true tangible power. And all she wants is inclusion. And there's a few times where she's given opportunity to have dominion over other people, or she could intimidate, or she could bully, or she can use her power to get in higher up with Oz and Madame Morrible. And she's like, no, that's evil. I'm not doing that. So she's the only person with any actual power. But even like Governor Throp, the closest thing to any sort of like affection or compassion he has is for his daughter Nessa. But he doesn't want to be governor or have any control over anything for any reason that it doesn't seem like selfish or like how it reflects on him. And even his love for his daughter and his hatred for his other daughter seems to be because of how it reflects back on him. And same thing with Madame Morrible. She only teaches her seminar whenever she feels like it, when she can find someone that she can use for her own gain. And then Dr. Dillamon, who doesn't have any power and ends up getting put in jail because he's an animal, he like is very passionate about teaching and helping people find their voices and speak out and stuff. And the Wizard of Oz, he was a snake oil salesman in Omaha. And now he's like, oh, what can I do that causes the least effort on my part, but I get the most power? What about a song and dance and I just manipulate people into feeling crazy, and then they give me the power when they're looking the other direction?
Wow, there's a lot there. So you said like Elphaba has the true power, but so she had
real magic.
Yeah, so she had magic. But when it comes to leadership, I think it's right. It's what Glinda said. Somebody that's popular. That's how they got there. But what does it mean to be popular? It means the masses see you and they not necessarily adore you, but they like you. They find you either attractive, and maybe not physically or sexually, but just your demeanor, how you carry yourself, how you talk. They like to listen to you.
They find you compelling.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what a leader does. A leader leads, and because people follow. What do you call a leader with no followers? Well, it's just somebody out wandering around.
That's not a leader. That's a loner.
Exactly. Well put, well said. So the deal is Elphaba, she's more of, what I see, she's more of a worker, or somebody with skills that can impact things and contribute to the work. Whereas a leader, they don't really do the work, but they have the vision and the mission, and they can communicate that, and they can lead the people. So I don't know, but it's an interesting dichotomy of the roles and who gets there and how.
Yeah, and that was the last person I had was Glinda, which she starts out wanting to get into a position of power, and she wants to learn how to have magic, and she wants to be adored and kind of get accepted and be admired by the general public, because that's kind of where she puts her self-worth.
Yeah.
But especially in the second half of the play, she has to really put her head down and be okay with a lot of negative stuff all the way up until Dorothy comes. And then we all know at the end of Dorothy, the Wizard of Oz, he flies back on his balloon to go back to Omaha or whatever. But something with Glinda is she becomes powerful, but she ends up being alone because she's in a system with people she can't trust. And she had to keep her head down and look past like a lot of bad stuff to get there. And it kind of made me think of like anyone in a position of power, they're not there by accident. They have to play the game. So it's one of those things, like I remember, I want to say Kamala Harris, she got like some flack for being a prosecuting attorney in California. Like, oh, you locked up all those people of our community and stuff, and we're supposed to vote for you now? And it's like, well, she doesn't get to where she's at by not doing her job. and you have to play the game that you're in.
Yeah.
So I'm sure she had to do.
Yeah. In her defense, I think she was district attorney, attorney general of California.
Yeah.
What do you do with criminals? You lock them up. I mean, it ain't like she made them do the crime.
Yeah.
I mean, she's just doing her job. So, in her defense, of course, that's what she should do. So, but more on this power and who comes in it. To me, if you are pursuing a position of power, or you see somebody pursuing a position of power, the motive of that pursuit is very critical. Because if they're just doing it so they can stand on a pedestal, so they can say, hey, look at me, hey, look at how much power I have, or I just enjoy having this much power, of course, that's just very selfish and pointless pursuit that is worthless. The pursuit, for it to be noble, it has to be, hey, I do have the mission, I do have the vision, I do have the skill sets to lead people in the right direction. That's a better benefit for them.
Yeah.
Okay, now you're going somewhere. Now you're going somewhere that's noble and good. So motive is key and critical.
Yeah, and it's usually people that are more altruistic don't have a drive or desire to have dominion over other people, and that's technically what you need to have power. But the people who have the most altruistic dispositions don't crave power over other people. Like, they'd press the button to make things better. But if it's, hey, control this whole area and tell people what they can and can't do and put people in trouble, it's like, I don't want to do that. I just want the roads to be fixed. Or,
Yeah. I don't think it's cookie cutter. I don't think this applies. But it seems like there's examples of some of the best leaders are ones that never wanted to be one. But I don't think that's universal. I think you can want to be the team captain and be good at it and lead the way. But there are some interesting examples of the other too.
I said earlier today, you can't compete with me. I want everyone to win. I don't have a competitive bone in my body. There was a time where me, our other brother, I think 2 of my other brothers, and like 3 or 4 of our friends were playing Risk, I think. It was one of those games that takes 90,000 hours and it's long drawn out, countries battling each other. It was literally like 4 or 5 in the morning, and we've been playing since like 10 o'clock the night before. And I was like, all right, dudes, I'm going to bow out. I'm going to go to bed. And then like 10 minutes later of me being upstairs, I hear people arguing and yelling. And I go downstairs, and my brother, who is very competitive and very much a tactician, and he likes games for the rules and how to win and how to do whatever, he was telling people, because I think I had given my property to somebody that had an alliance for the whole time. And then my brother was contesting that wasn't an option. It needs to go back in the pool for people to win and this, that, and the other. And I just basically went down there and I was like, listen, if you want me to stay down here when I need sleep, I will play this game to the end. I will spike call you so hard, and I will be here and ride this out. But I promise you're not going to enjoy playing with me.
Gosh.
And I was like, I'm just trying to go to sleep. That was the person I was dealing with. I just wanted them to have it. But if you need me to flip a table, I only have 2 modes. Very cooperative or very spiteful. And that was like, I'm driven, like I can ride this into the ground out of spite. But I don't know if I could be in a position of power out of spite.
Yeah. What else you got for Wicked?
That's mostly it. I'm looking forward to seeing how the second half goes.
Okay.
They added some songs.
Okay.
Changed a few things.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right. Well, that was Wicked. That's a wrap.
We talked a little bit about the Department of War. We listened. We learned a little bit.
That's right. We're better people for it. So, people are more important than politics, my friends. Let's act like it.